You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are four Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man oniro trelo. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
What's happening, people? We are Gate 7 International, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos, the international home for the red and white legend. My name is Costa, back for another episode today, and we've got a basketball special. It's been a while we haven't talked about basketball. I want to say that it's been a really good start to the season. And I've said a long time now that the basketball team has actually been keeping me sane because the football has been abysmal this year. But the basketball from the beginning of the season up until probably December, it was really, really good. I've really enjoyed it. And it's been a long time since we've discussed basketball, as I said. I want to introduce our guests. We have two very special guests with us today. One, we have Notis Psilopoulos. He's a journalist with the very popular daily sports paper, To Phos. Noti, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm very happy being here and talk with you and with Manolo and with you about the Olympiakos basketball team. You can ask me whatever you want. And I also don't forget the phosonline.gr. It's our website.
Fantastic. So make sure, guys, most of you listening, Olympiakos fans, you know Phos very, very well. So Notis is a regular there. He is the basketball correspondent for Olympiakos. So you'll see his articles coming up either on the website or in the paper before matches, after matches. He's the guy. He's with us today to talk about everything that's going on at the club. And Manolos77, great to have you back on the show, man, from our friends at Red Point Guard. How are you doing, Manolo?
Hello, Costa. Hello, Notis. I'm fine, thank you. I hope the same for you. And a Happy New Year also for everyone. We haven't talked for a long time. I remember one of our latest talks was before the game against Zalgiris, so I don't want to remember that.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it must have been around this time last year.
Yes,
almost
around late February, I think, last year.
Yeah, because that game was really a turning point in the season last season, wasn't it?
It was the beginning of the turn down.
And one of the players on that Zalgiris team that really hurt us that night is now playing for us.
Yes.
But before we get into the meat on the bone, I want to say something. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube yesterday. So I want to say a big, massive thank you to everyone that follows the show, that subscribed, that supported us. We started on YouTube last April. It's nearly coming to a year. We really enjoy what we do. We enjoy engaging with fans and building a community, bringing together Olympiacos fans from all over the world, connecting Olympiacos fans in Greece with those outside Greece, creating a community to discuss everything that's happening around the club. Thank you so much, everyone that has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and the bell below. Hit the like button as well. Help us to keep growing the community. Make sure you still continue to get all your updates and news regarding Olympiacos. We're mainly a football channel, of course, but we do like to do basketball from time to time, as we proved today. Now, let's start from the beginning, guys. So this season starts. We're back in Alpha Ena, playing in the league after I can't even remember how long, 3 years I think it was, that we weren't playing in the league. In a period that's, the post-Spanoulis era, Bartokas with the team at the beginning of the season. We bought in a shooter in Tyler Dorsey, somebody that could shoot off the dribble, that can create a shot for himself. We bought in Mustafa Fall, somebody that I really, really liked from Villarban last year. Skepazi to Kalathi. We bought in an elite defender in Thomas Walkup, like I was alluding to earlier, who really killed us last season in Kaunas when we played them. Sasha Vezenkov has turned into an elite sniper since last season, and everything seemed to be going so well. We were third in the Euroleague standings. Now COVID hit, and who knows where it's going. But I mean, guys, one by one, like I'll start with you, Notis. Like, how do you see like how things have evolved since the beginning of the season? Like, what's your overall assessment of what's going on at Olympiakos right now?
First of all, I believe that Olympiakos has a really good team, and I remember the last game against Khimki last season. Have asked Coach Bartokas his opinion about the team, and if he believes that he must make some transfers only with players that have Euroleague history. And he said yes, we don't want. I really believe in the team, and we want 3 or 4 transfers to make better and stronger the team, and especially with players that have Euroleague games in their history. And that's what Olympiacos done last summer. He took Dorsey because he really needed a player that he can score after dribble, as you said, and a player that he can bring something new in Olympiacos offense. He took also a very good point guard that he can play really good defense like walk up, and of course he make a very good transfer with Mustafa Fall because he needed a 7-footer because the basketball in the recent years we can see that in center position most of the players are really tall. Okay, yes, we have the mobile centers like Kyle Hines, Othello Hunter, Dunston, Kim Beats. I'm saying players that played the Olympiacos in the past, but the team really needed a very tall guy, and with 3 moves we can see that the team not only is playing better than last year, but also the chemistry of the team is very strong. And I really believe that last year's team, it wasn't bad. Really had good players. The team just needed 2, 3 players to make the team to go to another level. And don't forget that Olympiacos don't have the great budget like CSKA, Efes, Fenerbahce or other teams. And with the money that the team had, I think he made a very good job. And I don't think that is anybody that he can say something different than. But Coach Bartokas is a very good recruiter, if I can say that. I mean, he has he's known to make good selections on players. Players that they are not superstars. I mean, don't forget he found Lucheski, Brian Dunston, and other players, and that's what he's still doing until now. And we can see from the start of the season that Olympiacos is playing great in offense, also in defense. He made big wins against Real that the team is playing tomorrow. And the first round, I think it was great. With good chemistry, good defense, and everything was going really good. And suddenly, coronavirus came again in our life, and especially in the locker room of Olympiacos. and the normality has gone. But we must understand and accept that coronavirus is part of the game, like the injuries. And the main thing is that Coach Bartokas and Olympiakos must adapt. We cannot do anything else and move on with that, because the problems are not the virus cases are not only a problem for Olympiakos, are for all the teams.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's a really fantastic summary, Notis. Thank you. Manolo, what are your feelings like since the beginning of the season? How do you think things have gone? How do you see things moving forward?
As Notis said, Olympiakos during the last of season looked to strengthen the squad with three key elements, I think. The one was Euroleague experience, because we saw that players like Harrison or Octavius Ellis did not have the mental, let's say, attributes to adapt to what the Euroleague needs. The second one was defensive ability. We see that all new transfers like World Cup that you said and Mustafa Fall are, I would say, defense-oriented player who can also produce in offense, but it's supplementary, I think, the offense for World Cup, for example. And the third one was size, because we see that most Euroleague teams are growing bigger. So both Mustafa Fall and Thomas Walkup are players in their positions who are considered to be with size, let's say. So under this notion, I think that Olympiakos did a great job in the off-season. We saw that the team built chemistry too quickly, and this is important, the Euroleague experience that we say. All three players, along with Dorsey and Walkup and Fall, have Euroleague experience, so they adapted very quickly, and we saw that Olympiakos and with the other team that already had players that were 1 or 2 years together, started playing very well from the beginning of the season. As Notis said, the team had some very important wins, like with Real or Fenerbahce, which was, I think, a very crucial win if we see now at this point of Euroleague, because Fenerbahce is now rising in the table, so this win could be crucial. Also, the margin with Maccabi is something important for the future, I think. I will just make a break here because we saw that, unfortunately, tonight, all teams that are, let's say, competitors to Olympiacos for a spot in the playoffs, like Fenerbahce and Maccabi, and maybe Monaco. I don't know, the game against Panathinaikos is still underway. They all won. So Olympiacos, I think, needs to make at least one victory in the trip to Spain. Now, after the win against Panathinaikos, we could say that the team had a major drop in its performance. There are, of course, many issues. It's the COVID situation, as Notis described. Also, the team is based too much on its offensive flow, I think, because, as Notis said, there is no star in the team. There are too many players who can contribute in offense, not one key player who takes the responsibility all the time. And to justify this, I read the day before yesterday that Olympiakos is second from the bottom in points coming from ISO plays. So this is very evident that Olympiakos is based on team offense, on passing game, which was ruined after 2 weeks with no games. It's logical this to happen. we also saw that the defense has not the tension that they used to have. So 3 losses came, one of which was very bad loss, I would say, against Cervena Zvezda. The good with Olympiacos was that until that day he had no bad losses. I would say that most of them you would expect them to have the team. The home court advantage was very safe. Until that game, Olympiacos had not lost at SEF. So I think it's time now for Olympiacos to bounce back. It's a team that has proven all the years before that when he's facing difficulties, he can bounce back. So we expect to have a good performance in Spain.
Yeah, and obviously tomorrow is going to be a very tough game against Real Madrid. They sit at the top of the standings. You guys obviously touched on some very, very good points. The quality, first of all, of the roster compared to last year. I mean, you're comparing players like Octavius Ellis with Mustafa Fau or Aaron Harrison with Tyler Dorsey. I personally think it's unfair to make that comparison. You're talking about seasoned players on the one hand compared to players that are coming from a Euro Cup level, or even Octavius Ellis had played for Prometheus, I think, in Alphaena. So I don't think he had any European experience. So the level is obviously different. I think the statistic that you shared, Manola, about us being second from bottom in ISO points scored, so that's isolation plays, that's really interesting. Because in the past, whenever we got stuck, give the ball to Spanoulis and let Spanoulis play an ISO play and 3-pointer or, a drive to the basket, and he'd manage to unglue us, get us out of a tight spot. We don't have that anymore, or we don't have even an Eric Green that one year that he played for us. But that's really interesting. And you said the team's best player is the team. And we've loved to see that free-flowing basketball with the extra pass. It's been really nice to watch. And not, as you said, coronavirus is a part of our life now, whether we like it or not. And it's not just affecting Olympiacos, it's affecting other teams. It's affecting everyone. And Manolo, you asked the right question. So I put the question to you first, Noti. Can Olympiacos bounce back? Because ever since we've gone into this situation with COVID's hit the squad, the dressing room, it doesn't seem like we're able to come out of this slump. So do you think we can bounce back? Do we need to sign players? And do we need to bring Spanoulis back from retirement like Paul Scholes for Manchester United?
For Olympiacos to bounce back, first of all, he would love to have a better program. The schedule is not easy for him. There are difficult games. For example, he's not playing now, for example, against Alba or against Zalgiris. He's playing against Real Madrid now and against Baskonia at Spain. So it's really difficult for him this week to bounce back. For me, it will be a huge success if he can find a way and take the win at Madrid. Real is unbeaten on their home court. It's a really difficult game, but don't forget that Olympiacos found the way what to do right, and they won Real Madrid in the first game. They really played good defense. They had Sasha Vezenkov, and he was great, if I remember right. Eddie Tavares, the matchup with Fall, he was better, but Olympiacos found a way to take the game. I think Olympiacos needs time, because don't forget he will play tomorrow against Real Madrid, but Papanikolaou and Printezis, they were not in the practice. at their home at Karadin. They were not working with their teammates, so they are not ready for the game. He will play. I wish they have, with their huge experience, to work smart and do what they must do and help the team. Sakil Makisik also, okay, he's healthy now, but also he was out about 10 days. Okay, Quincy, he will not play, but he wasn't playing after all. And Larizakis, it's a loss because he was given important things when he was coming from the bench. It's difficult for Olympiacos to bounce back, in my opinion, this week because he has really difficult games to play. But sometimes in difficult moments, Olympiacos find the way to rise up. So we wish to find a way. But for me, I also want to say something that Giorgos Bartokas is a great coach. Great coach. He knows how to play well, to make good teams. He knows how to create teams that they can take wins and play beautiful basketball. But for me, he must be more
calm. Should be calmer.
Yes, and adapt the situation. For me, if he has a problem is that when some key players, I don't know if it's about the injuries or coronavirus cases, they are out. He's getting angry. He's not calm on the bench, and he cannot easily find a way to move on. I remember something like that happened not only last year. If you remember, also in the season 2013-2014, when Olympiacos was two-time in a row European champion, he was unbeaten. I don't know if you remember in 13-14, 25 games unbeaten the team, and he went there, and then Olympiacos playing Euroleague in top 16. And Perperoglu, Prindizis, Manolis had some injury things. They were not playing. Olympiacos finished third and played against Real, which was second, and he lost the ticket to go to the third final four. He didn't find the way to adapt the situation and keep the team calm to move on. I wish we had a button to push it and say, okay, no coronavirus, no injuries, no problems. But it's part of the game. For me, it's a important thing because now we see that Olympiacos was playing great when all the key players, when the team was healthy. And suddenly, Olympiacos, he cannot find the balance. And for me, it's not only about players think that problem. It's also about the team and the coach to talk and work together and find solutions. You said about transfers. Olympiacos took Quincy and he's not playing. To take another player and stay just to the bench. First of all, he must find a role for Quincy that came to the team, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of great points. Again, Noti. And we don't really have the budget as well. And I think Bartokas is also somebody that he thinks about team balance, team dynamics. I don't think he wants to upset the balance in the team. I think the players, they all understand their roles, something that might not have been apparent in previous teams over the last few years. It's interesting you mentioned about Bartokas and being calm because, okay, on social media in particular, you read a lot of things about Bartokas and his reactions sometimes on the bench. They might seem amusing, but in general, since he came back, he looks a lot kind of more laid back, like a bit calmer. But now he's in a difficult position. He's facing a difficult situation. And he seems to be going back to this tendency of losing his cool and he starts to he starts to do these things on the bench, and that's
he's getting really upset when because he knows he made a really good team, and he's really upset when he sees so many coronavirus cases and injuries, because it's like, you know, he made a really good paint.
Yeah.
And suddenly someone drops something on this paint, and he's angry about that. But it's a part of the game. I think it's it's very important, because the team, all the teams have problems. All the teams have injuries. All the teams have coronavirus cases, and the team must find a way to move on. And if you see also when in interviews, the players, all the players, they used to say that, hey, okay, we must move on and play better. It's not coronavirus. All the teams have the same problem. But you know, when the coach is talking about that, he mentioned a lot that the team is not living normal situation after December.
Yeah, obviously it's frustrating for him. Like you said, he's created something really, really good that we've all enjoyed watching, and all of a sudden it just looks like somebody shit the bed. Excuse the term in English.
Yes.
So I understand him, but he's the coach, and his body language, the way he behaves, it translates and it goes to the players. So he needs to find a way. We need to find a way. Conscious of time, because I know, Noddy, you've got to go soon. Manolo, what do you think, man? Do you think that, are we still on course for the playoffs? Do you think the objective is still to be in the top 8? Should we be aiming to get into the top 4? Can we dare to dream still to get back into the playoffs and then hopefully a Final Four? What do you think? What do you think it's going to take to be able to do that?
We always dream, but also we have to have our feet on the ground. It's part of the process. Olympiacos is now in a bad condition. It's normal. All teams have a period with losing streaks, with players underperforming. We saw Armani Milan having that. Maccabi Tel Aviv had 8 or 9 losses in a row. Fenerbahce. I'm not saying excuses. Of course, Olympiacos needs to be better in order to stay in course for the playoffs. Also, Coach Bartokas needs to be more adaptive, as you said. I understand that he wants to create a routine for the team. For example, you know, he wants to have the players a specific role, the first unit, the second unit, but there are games that this needs to change. For example,
Yes.
when you see...
I totally agree on what you say. I totally agree on what you say about the rotation.
When a player is on a good night, you know, he scores buckets, and you see that he's hot in offense, maybe he should stay in the floor. We saw that with Dorsey in Moscow. There are some examples. Also, I think in the last game against Cervena Zvezda with Slukas, was it necessary to have a substitution 1 minute before halftime just for the defense? Come on, it's first half only. I think as the season proceeds, the team will find again its good shape. It's good that there is a break now for the Cup. I think the next game against Efes, there is a 1 week break from Euroleague, so we will charge our batteries. Of course, there is also the Cup games, which will be very crucial, especially for the mentality and psychology of the team. Now, I think in terms of the standings, Olympiacos should look below him. I mean, not to aim high, but we see that Armani, Zenit, and CSKA are having a better record and are improving throughout the season. While at the same time, as I said before, some teams from position 7 and lower are also improving. So Olympiacos needs to get back in some wins. I think that the game against Baskonia would be a good start. And if we manage to get one win in these 3 games, I include also FS, it would be good. With 2 wins, I believe that Olympiacos will make a good step for qualification. There are also, of course, 10 more games, but if Olympiacos improves his record and manages also to have better performance, I think he can at least have a 6th seed in the final table. I am quite optimistic. I think that this is something, something which is normal. And as you said, the good offensive flow and the tension in defense will return. We see that Olympiacos is a team which is based on defense. I read an interesting tweet this morning that during the 17 first game, Olympiacos had very good numbers. I think he was the 2nd or 3rd defensive team in terms of defensive rating, while in the last 3 games is 13th. So Olympiacos builds momentum from its defense. We see that now he cannot do that. It's also the COVID thing, and also the squad depth in some positions. For example, when you don't have a backup to Mustafa Fall, I think it's obvious that there will come a time that he will be exhausted. And we see that in the last games. I believe that as time goes by, some players will improve. We saw Livio have a good performance against AEK.
Good.
Maybe AC, as Notis said, will provide some help. He's providing some good 3-point shooting until now. He needs to improve in defense, his reactions mostly, because he's a good defender. But, you know, staying 1.5 years away from the court is not so easy.
Yeah.
So I believe that better days will come a few weeks later. January is traditionally a terrible month for Olympiacos. As Notis said, this season was one of the best examples, losing to Armani Milan by 25 points in CEF, I remember, or another year with Sferopoulos, coach, losing at Bamberg, losing here against Bamberg in Piraeus. It's something that happens often to our
So
team.
that's actually quite encouraging then. Like if it's
Just
a
blame
trend,
January, yes.
Yeah, so okay, January is a shit month, but we're going to come out of it soon. So okay, that's somewhat encouraging in that, yeah, it's happened before, but we're going to come out of it. So κόλλησε το μυαλό μου. Who's the other center that we have? God, not the one that was basically our center last year. Come on, guys, help me.
I didn't understand.
Playmaker.
Who's the other center that we have? The second one.
The center, Hassan Martin.
Martin, thank you.
Martin. Yes.
He hasn't been as good this year. Like, I mean, the level of the team was different last year, but last year he was pretty much our number 1 center. But he's not really been doing it for me this year. Anyway, we're going to start wrapping up. Noti, I ask you one question, and Manolo, think of a question to ask Noti, and then we're going to close up, okay? And it's going to be a light question. I want you to tell me, what is this thing, this tradition that the team has developed before every game at CEF or even at away games, they do this thing where they all come out of the locker room one by one. They slap the hand of Bafes. And then the last one that comes out is Pridezis. And he comes out really, really slow. And then they all start screaming. You know, that thing that they post on social media where they all start, and then they all go out into the game. What is that? Like, where did that come from? Is there a story behind it? Something that you can share?
I think it's just a team routine. I mean, you know, sometimes the players and the teams they do one thing, and when the results are coming, they keep doing that. I think that's the story. And because I have to go, I want to say something. First of all, thanks for asking and being here. It was a pleasure. Nice to meet you, Costa, and also Manoly. I want to say something that the first goal for Olympiakos this year is to win the Green Championship at the Greek Cup. And if Olympiakos is going to do that, it's going to be for the first time after 25 years. It's very important for the team. Don't forget that. It's very important for Olympiakos to bounce back and come back to the Euroleague playoffs. Yes, it is. But imagine Olympiakos go to Final Four and lost, for example, the trophy like that thing that happened in 2017, and then going back and lose the Greek Championship and also the Greek Cup. Everybody they're gonna say that it was a year that Olympiakos haven't won a trophy. For me, it's very important when a team is going at least at the final of the Final Four. But the first goal for the team is to come back to the trophies, because the last time that the Olympiacos won a trophy it was 2016, and it's 5, and we're going to the 6 years. So don't forget that thing in your mind, because that it's the first goal for the team also.
For sure. We want to get back to winning ways. Noti, thank you very much. I know we have to wrap it up there. Before we do close, I want to thank again both of you, Notis Psilopoulos, reporter with Tofos in Greece, basketball correspondent for Olympiakos. Thanks very much, Noti, for being with us. You can find all of Noti's details in the description below, his Twitter, his Instagram, etc. Go and follow him. Get all your updates on what's going on with Olympiakos. Manola as well, my friend, thank you very much for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you on. My regards to everyone over at Red Point Guard as well. Those guys are doing an absolutely fantastic job. Really, really good. Like, head over, follow Red Point Guard, follow Manolo. You heard the stats from the man talking about the ISO stats and the defense. Really, really good. And Manolo's Twitter handle, everything is in the description below as well. Thanks everyone for watching, especially if you made it this far. We are the Gate 7 International Podcast, by the fans, for the fans. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. Don't miss the next episode. See you next time.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Θρύλος είσαι, στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.